A hike through the Indonesian jungle brings us to a cave that's only recently been discovered, and it has some amazing secrets, not in the least the remains of the Anoa creature, and galleries upon galleries of mesmerizing decorations, in today's episode on the Dive Saga channel. For the past 6 episodes, I've been diving in Indonesia with my friend Chaca, a local cave diver who knows every amazing cave in Southeast Sulawesi. We started our adventure in the city of Baobao with a dive underneath it. We then continued our adventure to the island of Muna, an island with an astounding diversity of caves. In Labungkari, we climbed over collapses and discovered how local villagers depend on this aquifer for drinkable water. In episode 3, we explored a cave right underneath our very own campground. A cave with mind-blowing decorations and some unstable ceilings. We got to know Muna Island intimately, from cyan blue jungle sinkholes to 4,000-year-old cave paintings and ornate chambers. This island has everything, including what is currently the longest underwater cave in all of Southeast Asia. But there is one more cave to explore in this final episode of the Caves of Sulawesi. And so, our final morning starts on Muna Island. Of course, with another expert briefing by Chaca.
Open water. So, 2 line.
Tony!
Ya, pagi, selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
I get in the car with Ronnie, Aki, and of course Chaca as we drive into the Indonesian countryside one last time for what is rumored to be the best cave of them all. A cave that has supposedly only been discovered 2 years ago and has not seen many divers yet. I'm going to miss my morning commute with Ronnie. Although he doesn't really speak English and I don't speak Indonesian, we've spent a good amount of time on the road together during the making of this series. And as always, he gets us directly to where we need to be. A very hidden cave called Anoa. And if you're curious what that name means, well, it's called Anoa because inside the cave is an old skeleton of an Anoa. An Anoa is a small wild buffalo native to the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. It's the smallest species of buffalo in the world and belongs to the same family as cattle and water buffalo. A highly endangered species. Exact numbers are hard to know because they are very elusive, but scientists agree that this species likely only has a few thousand individuals left in the wild at most. And I can't wait to see it, because in all honesty, until now I had never even heard of an Anoa. So I get in my dry suit ready for a lengthy trek into the jungle. And this is probably a good moment to give a special shout out to our porters on this adventure, Ronnie and Aki. As much as we talk about lengthy treks into the jungle, it's really these guys who make sure that all our equipment gets to where it needs to be, while we focus on the shoot.
Okay, Chacha.
Ya,
400 meter
400
walk,
meter.
and then the fossils of the Anoa.
ya, it was in Anoa.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
deep, 20 meter.
Okay. I read that only 5,000 Anoa
Oh, yeah?
today. Yeah. So, kind of special.
Yep.
and I like that. If you watched our episode about the gomphothere in Mexico, you can see remains of an extinct animal. It's like an elephant-like creature under the jungle in Mexico. But today we're going to look for the fossilized remains of the Anoa. I didn't even know that existed. It's cute though. It's like a little like dwarf buffalo.
And so we continue into the jungle. 400 meters or 1200 feet may not sound like much, but with 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures and near 100% humidity, walking through the bush in a dry suit is not exactly a breeze. And we also have to be careful not to walk into any spider webs, for instance. The island sits in the Sulawesi biodiversity zone, so its forests are ecologically unique, with species adapted to isolated island conditions. Much of the island's interior is covered in secondary forest and limestone terrain, and it's this limestone terrain that gives us these caves.
All right. Welcome to Anoa Cave.
Very cool place.
Yeah.
But far. It's a little bit far, but nice.
No people.
Okay, now we have to try to get down.
Yeah.
Now, let's do it. Okay, Anoa.
Anoa.
I hope I don't break my neck.
Slow down. This way.
Oh, here?
Yeah. Slow down, slow down.
I'm slow.
Yep, slow and steady is the way to go, because we have no tools whatsoever to make this descent, and we are a long way from help.
Oh, yeah, that is slippery.
Yeah.
So best not to get into any accidents. Luckily, I am a real explorer who knows how to deal with these situations.
Maybe jump.
Yeah, you jump.
This is how the professionals handle it.
No, I'm not gonna jump. My foot.
Well, not so much, I suppose. But in the water is in the water. And luckily, we have Ronnie to help us with the cylinders. And then it's finally time to check out these famous decorations and the infamous Anoa. All surface shenanigans aside, cave dives are no laughing matter. Overhead environment diving is an activity that requires discipline and attention. We make a descent straight to about 12 meters 40 feet and then slip underneath a narrow crack in the rocks. Welcome to Anoa. This cave shows its many decorations right from the onset. But little did I know at this point that we are in for a real treat, in the way of many, many more decorations. And not all of them are straight. Some stalactites, like you can see here, are crooked and gnarly, and in some spots it takes some careful maneuvering to get through. As you can see, decorations are present by the thousands. Partly due to the fact that this is a recently discovered cave with limited visits since its discovery. After all these millennia, I definitely do not want to be the first person to break something here. Diving through Anoa feels like traveling through time itself. Consider my mind blown already, and the best is yet to come. More decorations and the animal remains. But whatever may come next, it's already clear that this cave is among the most delicate I've ever dived. And a real-time capsule of the geological clock of Mother Earth. A clock that moves not in hours, but in millions of years. Stalactites as far as the eye can see, formed over hundreds of thousands of years, requiring no human presence, but in fact their absence. For a single human mind could never exist long enough to witness the timescales required for all this to be created inside the planet that we call home. So I urge you to sit back, listen to the music, and ponder the cosmic proportions of what we are seeing here. Eventually, after some 600 meters or 1800 feet, the galleries become too narrow to dive through them responsibly, and we decide to turn our dive. We still need some gas reserve near the entrance, where a side passage can take us to the remains of the Anoa. Luckily, we have plenty of gas and can take our time on the way back to take it all in. Caves this ornate and beautiful are rare, definitely in such pristine condition. This is one of those few remaining places on Earth where very few human beings will ever venture. A worthy final dive, and without a doubt my favorite of the 7 caves we've dived on this expedition. We've made it back to the entrance, so we lay our jump line and venture into the side passage, where we are supposed to find the remains of the Anoa. We tie in again and follow this line to our destination. The passage gets smaller and less ornate, but on the floor I immediately notice bones scattered around everywhere. It is likely that over the years many animals have slipped and fallen into the cave, quite frankly, just as I did earlier. And then, at a depth of 20 meters, 70 feet, we find what we were looking for. The skeletal remains of the elusive Anoa. Like so many species on our planet, on the verge of extinction. For this little Anoa, it's obviously too late, but for the 5,000 or so that are still in existence, I hope we can leave some untouched space for them to roam and to thrive. The things we find when we search a little. And with that, it's time to finish up my last dive of this amazing expedition in the Caves of Sulawesi. Perhaps this is one of the coolest solo dive trips I've ever made. And I definitely could not have done it without my buddy Chaca, and of course Ronnie and Aki. But of course, as with everything, all good things must come to an end. Oh, guys, that was beautiful. Came for the Anoa, stayed for the decorations. That was an amazing cave dive. And my last one right here in Sulawesi. Thank you, Chacha.
Yeah, you're
so
welcome.
much. That was amazing.
Yeah.
You're the best.
It's beautiful cave.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, that was our last episode of our Caves of Sulawesi mini-series. Thank you so much for the journey. That was really cool. And I want to specifically thank, of course, my dive guide, Chacha, amazing guy. Also Robin Cuesta from Sulawesi Dive Trek for organizing everything. And you guys for being along for the journey. If you can, subscribe to the channel, that helps a lot. And if you can, join the channel. That supports us in a structural way, so I can keep making these things and keep taking you to all the crazy places. You can also pick up a little bit of merch You should listen to the podcast if you like that sort of thing. We'll definitely debrief this series a little bit more on there. I'm tired, but it was worth it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.